Right, I got to the campsite which I was sent to from the library. There was only one lady. She stepped out. She kindly offered to help me, which was really kind of her. So, as I said, I went to Godston. There was one other person camping there. They basically offered to, told me that I could get hot food at the pub. I went there. There was one person behind the bar, 2 people in the pub. It was nice and quiet. Got the kids some hot food. Had this pie and ale. Oh, no. It was like a clear green jelly, and it tasted worse than it looked. Too polite, you know. Way too polite. I should have just said, stick that up your Jacksy. I don't really fancy it. But I just went, ate it. Anyway, moving on. So I got to this campsite and I met David Hooker, and he basically turned around and said that he needed someone that does IT. And he happened to have a flat that was available. But he said he didn't want me to put my name on any of the bills or anything like that, simply because he'd sold it and it would come up on the system. And it caused a problem for his sale. It's already going through. There was no agreement to rent or something like that. So I thought, well, you know, he must know what he's talking about. So second night the police came, and I spoke to the Out of Social Services. I really didn't want to go to them after the twins getting chest problems and the water problems at the accommodations. You see, the council did come out to check the accommodation at Friends Road, but they only actually checked the main 2 kitchens and not the other water that comes through into the self-contained rooms. The ones where they've got a little sink with 2 hot plates on the end with wires hanging off it. Wow, what a great idea. Who thought of that? My God. Anyway, if they can squeeze more money out of the council and they can get away with it, they probably will. So, further to this, I got a call the next day from David Hooker. The kids had a great time. It was muddy and everything. There were some nice views there. I understood the severity of the situation. Obviously the girls didn't. They had a great time. I wasn't going to explain that to them. Even though I was stuck on a campsite, I still took their uniforms. Anyway, I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, you know, was I going to go that far? Anyway, so David Hooker phoned me the next day. There was a bit of flirtatious text and stuff, and he said to me to meet him at the station, and he'd take me to view the property. I texted someone at that point to let them know where I was going, and then I got off at got on at West Croydon to Sutton, Surrey, and basically he gave me the flat, the keys, you know. He got all the paperwork out and he signed the contract, but he fraudulently signed as if a witness was there. I thought that was a bit naughty, and I'm sure that's against the law, and fraud is like a really serious crime. Anyway, at the time I didn't realise this guy works for CPS, Crown Prosecution Services and Fraud, and Croydon Council. Didn't find that out till September, after a series of events. So anyway, I sort of realised after a week or 2 that David Hooker was married with a son. Excuse me. Damn, it's gone out. Hold on a minute. I suppose it's really rude and horrible to smoke on a camera or video footage, but you know, it's one of them. I smoke. That's it. So anyway, moving on. David Hooker, I sort of brushed him off really, because he was quite simply married with a son, and I don't get involved with that. I'm only interested in single people if I'm really interested, which at the moment I'm not interested at all. After the extremely eventful year I've had, basically I didn't realise it was another area of mental health until I went at every single shop in all the places, and all of them were cameraed up, and somebody said to me that, you know, like, don't worry, you know, everything will be fine in that. the NHS look after you and stuff, and I thought, well, fucking random is that? Anyway, I was sitting in a local cafe there talking to a guy I met called Andy, and he's asking me why I was there, and I said, well, you know, the people that cover up for abuse are scum, and I still say that now, and I will always say that, and I don't agree with abuse. Okay, there's reasons for everything, we're only human, sometimes we do stupid things, right? But people that repeatedly get away with stuff as severe as what happened to my daughter, then they're scum, and I stick to that. No matter how many more times anybody tries to pursue me at all, you're scum in my eyes. That's my daughter, right? So, my money, I was having trouble with the banks and my money and stuff like that, but because I was having those days where everything was delayed and stuff like that, you know, and I was so stressed in that, I really couldn't be asked to sit and going through the bank paperwork and working out which days and dates were what and stuff like that at that time. I was focusing on getting the girls to school, an hour and a half there in the morning, an hour and a half back. And basically, somebody came in that day anyway and offered me some cigarettes after I was slagging people off for the abuse. I took them. I don't even like imports. I don't like dodgy cigarettes. I don't buy anything like that normally. And because I was so desperate, I just grabbed them. They were only £3. Went back to the flat that night. Spoke to a guy called Isaac on the phone. He was saying, was today better than yesterday and all this crap. And I thought, oh, yeah, it's absolutely fine. I've got somewhere to live, you know. I'll have to focus on now. It's getting Stevie down. So I got Stevie, give Stevie a call, told her I've got a flat for the moment. She came for the weekend, which was lovely. And I couldn't wait to see her, really. Anyway, I smoked a cigarette that day. And I got severe pain in both my lungs. So severe, I could only take 4 puffs of the cigarette. I never smoked anymore. I got a horrible smell on my breath for about 4 days. And then, within that week, I had all white come in the back of my throat and the roof of my mouth. A couple of days after that, David Hooker said to me that I should take more paperwork to CPS. It was another payment fund or something. I didn't know it was Crown Prosecutors at the time. I should go and take more paperwork for this and that. I did have a few bits left, luckily, which I had separate from the stuff that went missing. And basically, I took what he asked. I did what I was asked of me and what I was supposed to do. And I went to the Housing Benefit Office. He told me to be there at 4 o'clock to fill out housing options form. This is when I was first introduced to housing options. Okay, I went to at 4 o'clock. I think there was one lady on the reception. There was no one else there. Me and the twins went in. I sat at the computer. She said, "Oh, it's this page." She put me on a certain page. I got another tiny little flick in my left eye like that, and I thought, "Oh my God, fuck, what's going on here?" A shock. So I left, and because it freaked me out, and I got a headache for about 4 days. And I was walking around. I was feeling kind of zombified. I'm assuming that the mental health team were the ones that were sort of following me about after this happened, and I was with my kids and continued every day. But the thing is with what they do is when that happens, you cry a lot, but you don't actually have emotions attached to the tears. So you just get tears streaming down your face, but you're not getting rid of any kind of emotional stuff, the emotional stuff that causes problems. You're not getting rid of any emotion. You're just crying for nothing. Anyways, I was crying in the state of this devastation and the situation with my daughter Stevie and being poisoned with a cigarette, which now I found out was cyanide. And I had 4 of the cigarettes left, and when David Hooker came to see me, I put them in the storage that was going to the out-of-hours NHS and Social Services Department in front of him, and he sort of jumped back, and I thought, maybe, surely he can't know about me getting being given the cigarettes with the cyanide. That's not possible. He wouldn't know that that was going to happen at all, would he? No, not likely, is it? Anyway, I noticed he jumped back a bit, and then the next day I attempted to change the locks, but after you've had that blast in the eye thing, you're a bit stunned for a few days, and you want to try and change a lock in that state. Should have seen the state of it. It was all dangling out the door handle and everything. Oh my god. But I was determined to try, because obviously my artwear t-shirts with my photo and my art around the edges had men's aftershave on, and there was mud on the carpet, same from his boots when he showed me the flat. So I thought, wow, I don't like this at all. It's not good. You know, he was phoning me up a lot, and he was asking me a lot of stuff and what I was doing and private stuff like that, and I also kind of didn't want to know, because simply he's a married guy with a son, and his son's beautiful. I was actually seeing him one day in the car when I went down to visit a gym there. His son was lovely, so cute. Basically what happened was, after I blatantly refused, I've been poisoned with a cigarette and all that shit had gone on, and I thought, oh, this is hell. For God's sake, what have I done to deserve this shit? You know? Basically, I then went on to try and find somewhere else to live, basically. Somebody called me the day before I had the cigarette, and I spoke to her. Her name was Tash. I think it's Tash Erin. And I said to her, I'm still suing the NHS for what they did. You know, it's wrong what they did to us and stuff. She said these people are the best at covering their tracks tenure, and the next day obviously I had the cigarette. That was probably just coincidence. So anyway, David Hooker made arrangements with the out of hours NHS and social services at Croydon, council on the side at Minwalk. He said to me that he spoken to them, and they would give me 5 more weeks accommodation to try and find another property. The thing is with that, if he's got no links with the NHS and socialists and them kind of people from the council, which originally signed me off on their paperwork, and like they ended all the tenancy with me and stuff, then why did he pay for 3 big hatchbacks over 100 quid? And when I got there, I'd already put my stuff out the back. They put all my stuff in storage, 23 grams worth of stuff. All my kids' new clothes and everything else. But ideally I didn't want any more accommodation from them at the time, because the twins had already caught chest infections, and I was more focused on trying to get them sorted out and putting them at further risk under these dodgy landlords that rinse the councils for a fortune and use innocent people like us to milk the system, as it were. So instead of them getting targeted, these landlords, they're protected by all these legalities, and that takes time. You know, people get targeted for claiming in the first place, which is awful, considering I started to do really well at my businesses before I left Coventry, and I was really looking forward to leaving. To getting on with that and going to Italy 10 times in 1 year, and then, you know, April I was being poisoned with cyanide. I unfortunately should have been in Miami and NYC in April instead. So, bit of a change round there, really. So, to be truthful, as far as taxpayers are concerned, and them paying for benefits and stuff, I don't blame them. I mean, who should provide other people, right? But does it give people that are taxpayers the right to manipulate, to abuse, to sexually harass, and to do a lot further, as you'll find out what happened to me later on into the Croydon Council? So because you're a taxpayer and you're above board, it's okay that we pursue you, we hassle you, we give you grief, and we stress you to the maximum, and we mess with your family and your mental health and fuck everything up for you and throw away the last remainders of your business. Your last little photo of your daughter that died 14 years before, and her little pair of Nike trainers that I carried everywhere with me, that I love to smell, I can still smell on them. So, yeah, it's been a tough year. But with David Hooker, on the way to the out of hours, where he paid for the cabs, I put the twins in with me, and I stopped and I got the kids something to eat from the GP because I wanted to make sure they had everything they needed because it was tea time and we're getting on. And then I stopped again at Sainsbury's at Croydon to get some cigarettes, and basically I got out and the twins wanted something, so I said, come on then, let's go shop, girls. And the taxi driver said, get them fucking kids back in this car. I thought, that's really unusual for a taxi driver to say this. This whole situation is dodgy and I need to get the fuck out of here. This isn't right. So basically, I got there and I rang Colin in Coventry, my friend, and he said he'd put me up for a week or so, bring the girls, and so I left. I explained that I needed to leave the storage and I've got a place to stay, because when I got in there, the guy said, oh no, nothing, all the stuff was actually out the back. And because I couldn't trust this David Hooker guy, and I realised he worked for the NHS because we spoke on the phone, and he said to me, so sue the ones in Coventry, right, not us down this end, yeah? He said, so you think you're going to fucking sue me? That was his words to me. And he actually brought an ex-army guy round with him the day he kicked me out. But I made sure I was really polite and I didn't get angry or aggressive or anything like that. Well, I'm not aggressive anyway, but I didn't want to express that I was annoyed, because I just thought, well, people like that, they're just fucking idiots, and because they've got power and they know people in high places, they think that they can treat some people like shit. They're not worth, I don't allow them people to rent space in my head. You know, they're not worth my thought or my time. The reason why I'm making these videos is because that was the first pursuit of the twins. It wasn't done because I'm not a good mother, believe me, because I'm a really good mum. It was done because they wanted to fuck me over because of what I've got to say about them. They made a mistake. They were negligent. There was sexual harassment involved. I refused. I wasn't interested. What I've noticed this year about all these places I've been landing, that there seems to be an ex-army guy involved with each of these people that are offering me these properties. So anyway, after I fled from Croydon, obviously I went to my friend Colin in Coventry. He told me that it was a cover for the NHS and that that's why I've had the cigarette. I said, but why would they do something like that? You know, it doesn't make any sense really, you know. I stayed there for 5 days. From there I found a place in Cardiff, about a few properties to view. Why Cardiff? Why anywhere? All I was a single mother with kids who was desperate to find somewhere to live in order to get a daughter out of a very difficult situation. And I was struggling as well because it's like stuff was put in my path on the way. It was a very difficult year. So I went to Cardiff. From there I asked a few people about properties, stuff like that. I met this guy, his name was Darley. He said he had a flat and give me a room for a week, etc. We spoke for a few hours. He was a really nice person, and then we went to check out the flat in Ford Noel. It was a nice change from Godston. Basically what we did was we stayed there for a week. He was a few weeks. He was really nice. I met a guy called Rami who was lovely. But the unfortunate thing is that Darlie was trying to get me to train the twins to put toilet roll on the seat before they went for a wee and things like that, and he was teaching me about the Quran, etc. stuff, and his religion, and that I don't slag Islam and stuff like that, and I never did, you know. And I met a few of his friends, and they were really nice, and they were really kind people. From there I rang up for various properties. I took the twins to an out of hours. I got them some antibiotics for the chest and made sure that everything was okay with them. They were happy, they were content with what was going on, they didn't understand the severity of the situation. But unfortunately there were witnesses to me smoking them cigarettes, which made me very ill. It was at Cardiff I actually got loads of white stuff in the back of my throat and the roof of my mouth. Daddy said he knows what kind of infection this is, and if I don't go and get it sorted out basically straight away, it could spread very fast or whatever. So I decided to go in there with brushing my teeth and have a go with a toothbrush, and the whole lot come out. So I used salt water for a week or two and gargled my mouth and drank plenty of fluid, etc. The reason why I didn't call the police when I smoked the cigarette was because I just didn't. I felt because I was being asked at the housing benefit offices for more paperwork, and I was actually on camera and I was signing electronic things with an investigation of housing benefit and stuff, and I didn't think that the police was the right way to go at that moment. I thought the best way to go was just try and leave, really, for reasons of safety and understandable ones. So from there, from Darlie's, we had a lovely rest, a nice time, went to see various properties, none of them pulled through. And when you're travelling so much, the little bit of money you have got, because you can't work all the time because you're not settled and you're not making any money, a lot of money, you're living off a little bit of working tax credit, which just about gets you travelling or to view properties. You don't have, you're not capable of paying a bond or a rent. And Rami got through Gumtree. There's a lot of these houses coming up, these properties, and one came up in Lancashire, Cardiff to Lancashire. What do you say? Well, it was a house. All I wanted to do was settle back into normal life, continue my business, and just sort everything out. Better for me, better for the girls. That's all I was trying to do. Anyway, I got the house in Lancashire and I was spiked. I got, my jaw was moving around a lot and I got tingling all down the backs of my legs and stuff like that, and it felt really strange, and I wobbled to the little police station at the bottom of the road, and they told me to report it up there, and I said, well, I'm here, I want to report it here, and they said to me, just go. But I went back in and I banged on the counter and I said, you're supposed to be the fucking police. This is a fucking crime. Someone's committed a crime and I want to report the crime. I said, this is a cover up for abuse, and I banged on the counter. The lady sort of looked down and she sort of understood, and she gave me a crime number which had two little briefings on the computer. It wasn't a full rundown. I hung around because I wanted to make statements and I wanted paperwork and I wanted to defend myself, really, and my situation, which became increasingly difficult because the guy that came out, he told me to speak outside, and he said to me, are you sure you're alright? I said, do you think I'm alright? I said, let me spike you first and then ask you if you're alright. And he was just ignorant, I felt humiliated. I thought, this officer really isn't going to help me at all. So basically I just went on my way. No help from the police. I obviously started drinking lots of water, flushed it out my system and stuff like that. See, the guy who spiked me actually gave me a key to his flat. Because I never had a cooker or washing machine until he basically offered me the key to his flat and his cooker and washing machine, and he said that I can use them. which was really kind, until he made me them teas, and I got that tingling and all that stuff going on. I got the fuck out of it straight away. After this, I didn't continue contact because he wasn't worth it. He was giving me a few funny phone calls, so I decided at that point that I'm going to go round and I'm going to kick off with this guy. Fuck him. Who do you think he is? I was going to have a go at him, you know, and tell him what I thought of him, give him a piece of my mind. But it shut the gates and everything to the flat and stuff, and then he texted me, he said, if I go around there again, I'll call the police. I thought, well, what, you think they're going to come for you and not for me? Anyway, I stuck that out because I was desperate to get Stevie back. I stuck it out, and throughout the time I was at Collins, after I left Croydon, I was getting Rob Maestro from the internet, constantly trying to get me down there, asking me to come down and sell some bags at the gallery, etc. at Southend, and I just sort of ignored that. But what I did notice about my phone when it was hacked, that every time somebody sent me a message or something about the kids or whatever, if I tried to return a message which was defending myself in that situation, even if I had credit, the messages would not get sent. It just wouldn't go. I just thought, that's fucking weird. But anyway, it wasn't weird considering, you know, my phone was hacked throughout the period, and it's still monitored now and stuff because it's got all conversations being checked by the police, etc. Simply because I had people come in online, specific people. I got a journalist from America, another one from Ghana, and they would always be online, and they would be getting the story, and Gary Layton from America would call me regularly. And just after I had the cyanide in the cigarette, he called me, he said, are you coming to Miami? I can't wait to meet you and stuff, and good luck with the art and everything. And I said to him, I've been poisoned. I've had a really bad cigarette, it had cyanide. Well, I'm not sure what's in it, but I feel very unwell. So. And he was devastated by this. And because of that, when I spoke to him on the internet after that, he basically said to me that he didn't want me to mention anything else on the internet and speak to him further about what had happened, because this wasn't meant to happen. I thought, okay. So basically I went to, I was at Cardiff, I got the house at Lancashire, I moved to Lancashire. May the 10th I moved in. The landlord signed up straight away, but there was various problems with the property. Me and the kids couldn't wash for 5 weeks. There was gas safety issues, etc. And his friend who finally came around to do some work actually said that if I converted to Islam, that my life would be pure. I thought, well, and then a few food shops opened up round the back, and one of the garages started running, and I thought I might stay there, but then the landlord threatened me. I thought, oh, fuck this, you know. How did they get away with it? Anyway, I stuck out the shit. I got Stevie back. Landlord said to me, you've got your daughter back now. He said to me, stay in this house, you know, stay here, and I'll fix it all up and stuff like that. It was a little too late. So basically, obviously my desperate need and situation, I started speaking to Rob in Southend again. Well, that's another story. We're getting on to Southend now, but I have to end this video because my battery's going dead. Southend is next, on the way to Southend.